Well, hello, this is James Hecker, mortgage advisor, just reaching out to you on Veterans Day, Friday, November 11th, 2022. And so today we celebrate Armistice Day, the end of World War I, which at that time was not called World War I because, it had been the only world war, what they called the Great War at that time. And, you know, Veterans Day is always on November 11th. And the reason for that is that the armistice took place on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. So that has evolved into what we now call Veterans Day because we're celebrating all veterans. And that's always going to be on the 11th of November. So why is that important? Well, vets, both deceased and living, have done this country some great service. And, my own personal history, I was not a vet, I didn't serve, but my father was a World War II combat Navy veteran. My son is an Iraqi combat veteran. And my stepfather was in 1949 in the Air Force and later in the Army. My father-in-law was Korean era veteran of the Army. Traced back history because I'm really into ancestry and that kind of stuff. And in my ascendants lines and my ancestors, there have been people that have served in the Moro Rebellion in the Philippines in the 20s, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. And so those things, why do I share this? Well, because all of us have in some way, some connection to someone who wrote that blank check, who literally signed on with the possible outcome of losing their life to defend our country and our freedoms. And we're all affected by that. We've got a country today that is something to be proud of, even through the tumultuous times that we are living in. From whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, there's definitely a lot of tumult. But, people have given up their lives. People have given up their time. They've served, and they deserve to be respected and remembered. And also just honored, those that are alive as well, because Veterans Day is for all veterans. Memorial Day, sometimes that gets confused. Memorial Day is the time to remember those veterans who have passed. But Veterans Day is everybody who's served. We're taking the time to really thank them and to honor them. And one way that I'm really grateful to be able to do this, and this is the commercial part, this is a business channel. And one way that I'm really glad to be able to serve those who've served us is with the VA, the Veterans Administration Home Loan. It's an absolutely amazing product. In fact, it is the best home loan available, in my opinion. Now, vets have earned this benefit. They, like I said, written that blank check that could result in, being cashed for their lives. And so the VA loan allows a veteran to get into a home with as little as no down payment and at an interest rate that is better than conventional mortgages. So, nowadays there's no limit as set by the VA. So I've got lenders that will go up to $2.5 million with no money down for a veteran. And of course, you can put more money down if you wish to have a lower payment. You can borrow. In the past, you were only really able to borrow with your spouse or another veteran. Now you can borrow with someone who, a fiance and, someone else who even maybe doesn't live in the property. But there has to be a down payment in that case. So the veterans loan has opened up a little bit. But in general, I just wanted to state what an absolutely fantastic program that is that vets have earned. And going back to history, I was contacted one time a few years ago, actually, by the Department of Army Repatriation. And turns out that my dad had a cousin who died as a prisoner of war, Japanese prisoner of war, in the Philippines. And you probably in history have learned about the Bataan March in the Philippines. A lot of service people died in that time and in that situation. And I was contacted by the Army because his remains had never been found. And it turned out that I was the only living relative that they could find. He had no children. He had no siblings. Again, my father's cousin. And so they wanted to reach out to me and just say, well, if we ever do find his remains and we can repatriate him, you're the person that we're going to contact, that we have done that. So I found that to be very, very interesting in learning about this gentleman's life. John Hecker was his name. And as I said, a cousin of my dad's. So if you have any interest, if you're not a veteran or you are a veteran, you have interest in those kinds of things, there's tons of information available out there about that. And if you have an interest in ancestry and checking your family line, feel free to give me a holler. I really enjoy it and be happy to guide you in whatever way I can. That's happened as well. One Veterans Day or Memorial Day, I forget which, I'd sent a video out, and one of the realtors I work with had contacted me and just saying, yeah, I had an uncle that was in World War I, and I believe they had not found him. And I was able to find that uncle's records and share that with the realtor that I work with. And he was really grateful. So just something that is a little aside from the normal. We've got some fantastic people out there that, as I have said, wrote that blank check. There's a lot of other people that in different ways, what we call first responders, obviously, that have served our country without being in the armed service, as it were. But today's the day to reach out to a veteran that you know of, thank them for their service, pay them that honor that they've earned, as well as any deceased veterans in your family. Just think about them and remember them as well. So you got any questions about anything when it comes to a VA loan, or you just want to talk a little bit about ancestry and genealogy, you can reach me at 661-714-2145. So I hope that you have a good day today, remembering and honoring vets, and that you have a fantastic weekend. And I'll be back on Monday with the regular weekly mortgage rate recap and update. Some great things happened actually this week in the mortgage world, and I'm going to share that with you on Monday. So have a wonderful weekend. Take care.